don't leave the battery connected because Michael loves to sit in here.
Oh, yeah.
And
oops, now mom's mirror.
well, it's all right. She can fix it.
Michael likes to sit in there and run the starter.
Oh, well, fiddle with the switches, you know. So,
Oh, yeah.
so that would never do, would it? You can imagine. Michael, just mind, love. Don't. Yeah, just wait much left of that, but it's in up the middle. It stood around a long time.
Yeah, oh, see this.
Hey?
Honey? Honey? Norma?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, no, we don't have a problem. I know what we have.
Come on,
We
quickly.
have the main fuse that isn't inserted.
That's your double security.
Yes, double security.
What's the matter? You want me to
You've got-
camcord you up against the Bentley?
There's some things about the old cars. Look at this. Fuse wire. Regular, old-fashioned main fuse wire. So you get into this, your main fuse box, and there's even spare fuse wire. So if you bust anything, you just, these I've taken out most of the fuses because it's the wiring strip, but you just put a fuse wire in. Now, you've got to admit, that's simple and practical, isn't it? The thing is, you try and find fuse wire anymore.
Well, you should be able to find it.
Oh yeah, I have a big roll of it actually.
They should have kept up.
Yeah,
such
this is
practice.
this is a little a trouble light. Plug it into the dashboard and unwind it, and this is your built-in trouble light.
Yeah, I gotta get a good picture of that, John, because Max will really be interested in this.
Instead of the old dynamo, you know. And a few things like that.
Can you do the body work? Can you do the body work?
I'm going to put it. No, I'm going to put it in for painting when I've got the rest of this strip. I'll put it into a guy in town. Yeah. I'll put my money where that is because you see that. Yeah. You see that? 53. Yeah. I can put it in here because very unusual to be right-hand drive and right-hand shift. Most English cars always have the gear shift in the middle, so the left-hand gear. Yes. We're all Bentley, not Wade, with a gear shift on the right until about 9.
Spare tire.
It's stinky. Oh no, it's yeah, it has lots of room actually, surprising. It's four-door, and there's lots of room long ways, but they're not very wide. They're top, high, and tall. Yeah, you can buy a new one. Now the latest Bentley for turbo R. This is a Model R. They built the Model R for 3 years. But the latest one, the turbo R, starts at $140,000, and they're going to import 50 next year. It's It's bigger than this car. Of course, it's a modern car and it's low and wide, but it's about a similar sort of size car. Full size, big car, weighs 5,000 pounds, and it does 0 to 60 in less than 7 seconds and 140 miles an hour. And you pay $140,000.
Oh my word.
Isn't that? Well, in its time, this one was like that. It was one of the first real large, comfortable production cars that did 100 miles. High performance. Yes, high performance with a luxury car, you know. Was really considered to be.
Did you get that car's profile?
Yeah.
Well,
There's a car. Looks like an expensive car. It's time, you know.
so why a 53 Bentley, Mr. Crofts?
It's the one that I know most about.
Why is that?
Well, I was at Rolls for 9 years, 43 to 52, and the last 4 years I was there. I was a young engineer in product development, and we were developing the 53 model because there was a model change in 53, and
So you got pretty well acquainted with it.
very, yeah. And it was some people would say it was one of the classics. I mean, every year has its own classic, but it was certainly one of them.
Yeah.
There's a long history, of course, with Rolls and Bentley. Rolls started off and Bentley started off at completely different companies, and then Bentley got in trouble in 31 and went bankrupt, and Rolls-Royce bought them, the brand name, because a classic, you better not mess around with it, you better not let everybody buy one, else you've lost it.
Yeah.
You know? But they needed the higher production rates, and they also needed a new market to reach a new market segment. Not the corporate executive or the ambassador or the very wealthy person who hired a chauffeur, because that was the Rolls-Royce market. They needed the wealthy sportsman who wanted a fast but luxurious sports car that he drove himself. So they bought the Bentley name and created the Bentley car. And then after the Second World War, they also realized that for the very small number of cars they were making, highly customized, they had to have a great deal of standardization, else costs were going to eat them alive. So they essentially developed the Bentley as the high-speed, high-performance sports car, and then detuned it and badge engineered it to be the Rolls-Royce. And then, funnily enough, again, in the 70s, they almost stopped selling the Bentley side and sold a lot of Rolls, and then found Turbo R. They've come up with a really high performance sports car package in a really beautiful, luxurious car that sort of blows the door off anything you can meet on the road.
Yeah.
And charge a very high price for it.
Yeah. This is for the guy that wants to drive himself and he's got lots of bucks.
That's right. Lots and lots of bucks. And also, he doesn't want to give himself sciatica getting into the car. These little Italian things, I mean, they're tremendous, but you need a shoe on and a winch to get
into the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
He can take his friends out to the country club and so on.
Get in and out
Right.
comfortably and
Right.
ride in it comfortably.
Right.
And get there right away.
It's stamp moldings. Now what I want is this roof, the entire roof, down to here, to this line, down to here, and down, tapering off to almost nothing, to be the light gray, and then right along the waistband here, and it comes down here, and then it's got a seam along the hood here. That'll be all light gray, and everything else blue. So my doors will have a blue bottom, and a blue frame, and a waistband of light gray across. but I've never seen one painted to match the stamping, you know, the molding on it.
And that's a natural paint line.
Absolutely, that's
Yeah.
what I think. Yeah, and I think it will look nice with all of this dark blue and this the gray. You see? I want
Like
that.
this a paint line.
Yes, make this a paint line. I think it'll look nice. There used to be a body style that you could roll the hood down up to here, but the back was still stayed up, and that's I think what it'll sort of look a little bit like. Of course, there was also a body style where the roof stayed up completely and just the back quarter used to come down. If you've seen those, they call them I think landaulettes.
Oh.
You know, the roof and the doors and everything stay solid, but just this portion falls down.
Yeah, that's one. Boy, I wonder what gauge that is.
Yes. Well, it's had a lot of repair work. Yes, Pookie.
Where's my car?
What's that?
My car?
Oh, yes. Okay. That is, you know, you can see what it is. It's a ball junction. You know. Okay. This is brass, and it's like the wear pack. So if you look at each of these pieces, they have a jam nut, a forged socket, a brass ball head, and then they have this little bolt and nut here, and those are taper-headed. They fit inside a taper. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Then you've got the ball, which is 6. There's 6 pieces for each end. Between these butterflies and your foot, there's over 100 pieces.
Oh, for crying out loud.
They could never afford to make them today. You know, but Pa Royce designed these in 1906, and they never changed them till about 1965. In fact, a large number of the parts on this car were pre-war because they just didn't have time to re-engineer everything. You know, so they did some engineering after the war, but not a tremendous amount. A lot of the
There are so many
components-
things on this that just don't look like production stuff as we know it.
That's right. No, that's
Yeah.
right.
Looks customized.
Yes. This is an American standard fan. This wasn't original fan shroud. And I had to move the fan forward to put an extra pulley on to drive my Freon compressor. So I had to find a very shallow fan. So that's but it looks all right. It looks good enough that it might as well belong there.
Yeah, you cut the shroud off, did you?
Yes, and you can see I've had a slight interference. But I'll finish that with you can get nice plastic split piping that slips over there when I finish it. Oh, I put a sight glass on there. John and I, we are total believers in the coolant recovery systems. Oh, but this never had one originally. But we're going to put a coolant recovery on here. This will look quite nice. That's a Renault. That'll go down there, fastened here someplace. And then there's the overflow tube comes back here. And then all you got to do is look to see if you have green in here
And the side glass.
and in here, and you never touch anything. You never take that. It's got a solid cap, you see. It's not a pressure cap. This is the pressure cap. It's a 4-pound pressure cap on that, which won't look. I mean, it won't look a mismatch. You know, it looks a nice enough piece of equipment that it'll look all right. I reckon. England. And fortunately, that's got a little spring drive, spring blades. This dimension on Delco distributors, I think, was unchanged for about 30 years, these dimensions. So a 72 Chevy distributor fits, you see. And then, of course, with a 72 Chevy distributor, you can buy this electronic ignition kit. So it's an optical electronic ignition, which is one of the big improvements that have been made in automobiles, is electronic ignition, you know, there's no question about it. But if anybody would want to see it exactly as it was originally.
That would be that. Well, what was the voltage on the battery? Was it
12, but it was a
but it-
positive ground.
Uh-huh.
Positive ground, and so I rewired it and put a Delco alternator because an alternator is a big improvement over the old DC generators. you know.
Yeah, sure enough.
So what was the engine like?
This engine,
Yeah.
oh, I was very lucky with the engine. It had just fairly recently been sleeved back to standard and had a crank ground.
Okay, are you
And about the only parts really that the engine needed were exhaust valves. And it had one burn valve. See, that's an original Bentley valve, but I couldn't afford to put Bentley parts in, so these are Chrysler valves, and they're identical except for the collar. I just got the Chrysler spring retainers and machined them to fit the Bentley springs and put a set of Chrysler valves in. And we found that Ford piston rings also fit.
Oh, for crying out loud.
With a little help, a 64th of the piston, you know, and then put a little deeper in the groove than the Ford piston rings fitted.
Oh, you had to turn the groove in.
Yeah, a 64th, yeah. But that saved about $100, so
I'll bet.
so it was worth it. And the only part that's original that I had to buy was a brake part, which cost me $110. And gaskets.
Yeah.
But I got the gasket set when the car when the guy
Yeah.
shipped it over.
You had this shipped over
From England.
From England.
Yes. It would have been scrapped, parted out. You know, it was pretty far gone, really. And I thought I could find a good home for it.
I believe.
I think that's great.
Yeah.